Everyone, it's Evan, the blind strength coach and world's strongest blind man from caneandablefitness, your fitness resource for the blind and visually impaired. And today I want to talk about grip. I am going to be in my very first grip competition on Saturday, which is very exciting for me, but also a little bit daunting. I'm not necessarily an expert in grip, but I do have a big passion for it and a lot of tools. And I wanted to let you guys know about a lot of different ways you can train your grip and different tools so that if you want to get into it and don't necessarily want to buy anything and everything, you can kind of get picky about what you want to choose based off of what you want to pursue. So, first of all, I have a loading pin here. This is from Rogue. A lot of these things are from one of my really awesome clients / friends, Aaron. So I have this loading pin where you're able to put weight plates on here and use different grip implements. So some of my grip implements that I have are a pinch block. So it's just a few inches wide. You're able to pinch it with one hand or two. And this is helping me get ready for, in the competition, there's gonna be a barbell that is this square block. And they're gonna be able to load that up and you find your max, what you can pinch and pick up in a deadlift style. So that's gonna be really fun. And again, it just attaches onto here and you're able to load the weight plates and be able to test yourself in a very varied way, very adjustable. We also have a hub that I'm able to put my fingers around. So it's like, imagine the hub of a weight plate, one of the old school metal ones. So it's raised, I'm able to hold on to that and then be able to address these things. And both of these are very easy to bring while I've been traveling. So I've been able to take them with and use them on even cable machines in order to get some sort of work in even while I'm off traveling, blind sports camps, different things like that, and not able to bring my big old weight pen along for the ride. Next is going to be, my mom calls this the ice cream cone. Other people will call this like an anvil or a bighorn. And it's this cone that it's like a graduated cylinder where it is fatter at the bottom towards where you hook it up to the weight pin, and then it gets skinnier and skinnier. So you're having to do this oblique grip where it's almost like you're like holding like a sandbag or something down below you and able to get in that really odd shape where it's the point is up by your pinky, and then it gets fatter and fatter down towards your thumb, and that is what's reaching down and grabbing towards the ground with however much weight you have on there. So I'm actually going to be training this one here in a little bit. And also, this one is going to be very applicable to the competition I'm going to be in. There's a really cool custom piece of kit where they have an anvil mold, basically, just for the horn of an anvil, just like old blacksmiths would use or anything like that. And it's a feat of grip strength to be able to pick up an anvil by the horn. But again, we're able to load it up for max using a weight pin because it has been designed in order to have a lot more variability, not have 20 different anvils. Instead, we're able to have that horn, lock it into a loading pin and pick it up from there. So I got to mess with that a little bit before at the Sore Next Summer Strong conference, but I'm really excited to go for max on that one again. Another thing that is very common and helpful when it comes to grip is the cliche spring gripper. So this is one of my two grippers that I have, and I want to get really good at this one before I even open the other one because I got really aggressive with the ones that I ordered. But I'm going to have to be able to put this in my hand and then close it in front of a judge during the competition, and I think we're going up to just max on these as well. So that's going to be another aspect of grip that you can train, and also think about just how portable this is. So I was able to keep this on my person throughout my recent travels again. And I remember sitting waiting for an airplane and just getting really bored listening to a Stones of Strength podcast and feeling like I was being really lazy. So I pulled out my gripper and I got in some squeezes, some isometrics, some long holds, some eccentrics, slowly letting it come back out. So this is more variable than a lot of people tend to get credit for. I think you can just do some reps of squeezing or just a maximal squeeze, but you can actually help push it together with the other hand and then hold on for dear life, or do a slow eccentric, slowly letting it open your hand up, or hold in different positions. I'm gonna be training this one today as well. and I'm going to be hitting some different positions that I don't feel very comfortable in order to hold an isometric there and get stronger there, because this is kind of a weird grip for me. I do a lot better with like a barbell crush hold, and so this one is going to be very, very handy. So again, you can get these. There's a bunch of different brands these days, and you can get them at all sorts of different levels, from a trainer one to a starter one to then they usually go from like numerically, like 1, 1.5, 2, and you notice those halves are actually able to start bridging the gap that there didn't used to be between 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these are fun, not the most applicable to all kinds of grip, but again, if you're doing like those long holds and hanging out in certain positions that you're not very good with, especially me, I'm not the best at curling my fingers back together and really anchoring there, especially my pinky and my ring finger, this can be incredibly helpful for you as well. And then next is fat grips. These are super well known and for very good reasons. I have the really big red ones here. I also have these smaller blue ones, but these come in handy a lot. So again, when I was traveling, I was able to strap these onto a bar, dumbbells, something like that, and be able to practice what I need to work on and really build up that grip. You can also put them on pull-up bars and do pull-ups, hangs, anything you want to do. So super versatile. And also in the competition I'm going to be in, the fourth event is going to be a Thomas inch dumbbell, where you have to pick it up, or pick a pair of them up, and then do a farmer walk for 24 feet. And then you get to go heavier and heavier and see how heavy you can actually go. So the Thomas inch dumbbell is a very well known dumbbell. It's about 172 pounds. And the handle though, that's the tricky part, is as big as a Coke can. That's what everybody says. So it's really fat, you can't get all your fingers around it. So you can't get a very full hold of it, so you have to really mimic what you're doing with these fat grips. So I was even in here in the garage gym yesterday doing farmer picks and holds with the really big fat grips, working up heavier and heavier weight to start getting used to that, where it's really trying to pull out of my hand and my hand isn't even all the way closed. So those, especially when they're the old school like globe style dumbbell, will be really cool to work up on. So again, it's gonna be ascending weight, and the very top weight that you get to try is gonna be 172 pounds in the really fat grip in a dumbbell, straight off the ground per hand. So that's gonna be a really exciting event to kind of see if I can even get up to that level. Fingers crossed, but that's gonna be really tough with the previous weight, so who knows. Some other things that I have are the Denny handles, and these ones are from Cerberus. Pretty much everything else has been from Rogue Fitness, but these are 2 metal rings attached to weight pins that are the appropriate height to mimic the legendary Denny stones from Scotland. Donald Denny is a strength legend over there in Scotland, and there are these 2 giant stones. One is just over 400 pounds, the other one is just over 300 pounds, about 415 and 320. I'm blanking on the numbers right now. But the big one you hold with the big handle, and the little one with the slightly smaller handle, and it's a really big strength feat to be able to pick them up. I heard recently that more people have climbed Everest than have lifted the Denny stones. So that's really cool to train for. Typically, in order to get up to heavy enough weight, you have to have like kilo plates or much thinner metal plates in order to even get up to as heavy as you need to go, because you have to get over 400 pounds on this one handle alone. So that's really rough time, really hard on the hands. Teaches you like hook grip, or it shears skin off your hands. This is probably not the best thing for beginners, but if you come across these things, people carrying the nickel stones, the Denny stones, any sort of like side stone carry, or a straddled stone pick, it's likely some sort of nod to the Denny stones. So these handles allow you to go heavier or lighter and be able to practice for that kind of event, or just test your mettle in the gym. So this is all the grip stuff that I have. When it comes to actual implements, there's an axle bar behind me as well, and I got my farmer's handles too. Those can obviously be super good for building up the grip and doing even things like reverse curls, heavy picks, putting fat grips on the farmer's handles, long holds with the farmer handles, walks, anything like that. And then we also have a barbell, which we're normally able to use for wrist curl with a band on there, or behind the back wrist curls, behind the back holds. There's a lot of different things that we're able to do with not all that much equipment. And I know I harp on this all the time, but grip is incredibly important for those who are blind or visually impaired, or anyone, because our hands are really our connection to everything. When we're trying to manipulate things, we need our feet to be functional, and we need our hands to be able to grasp onto something and help us. So whether you are carrying your grandkid or using your mobility cane or a guide dog as a blind person or trying to unscrew a jar, grip is so incredibly important. So there's a lot of different ways to train it, and you might find some ways that you absolutely hate, maybe you need to work on those, or other ways that you could really get a lot better on and enjoy a lot more. So you can kind of pick and choose between all the different types of grip and different grip exercises that there are, even at your basic gym. So hopefully this gave you guys a little bit of an idea of what sort of different grip things there are and the torture that I've been putting myself through in order to get at least a little bit prepared for this grip competition. Not really putting any pressure on it, I just do want to go have a good time with people who are a lot more serious about this stuff. But hopefully it goes well, and who knows if we're going to do some other grip stuff in the future. I definitely will be doing more strongman. I have another strongman competition against able-bodied competitors in August, and really looking forward to that. And if we think about our grip stuff, that is going to apply to a lot of things I have to do there. If I get my grip strong, I'm going to be able to lift the sandbags that I have to lift better. I'm going to be able to lift the axle that I have to clean and press a lot better. There's also a farmer hold for time. With regular farmers, not the fat grips luckily, I'm going to have to hang on to that with 280 pounds per hand for as long as possible. So you can see how grip really applies to anything and everything. So whether it's normal everyday things or wanting to be a monster in the gym, grip can absolutely help you. Please go ahead and comment below any sort of questions that you have, and if I can be of any help. And also like and subscribe to help the channel grow so that we can help fitness be much more accessible for everybody, especially those with visual impairments.